Join UF Hall of Famer and 14-year NFL vet Shane Matthews every weekday as he brings you all you need to know about your Florida Gators, including news, analysis, and opinions with some of the biggest names in sports. Find us on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts, or watch us live at 8 a.m. on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter.
Good morning. Live edition of Matthews in the Morning from the International Diamond Center Studios, locations across the state of Florida, right there in Celebration Point in the heart of Gator Nation. It is Christmas time. Go buy some Christmas presents at International Diamond Center. Comfort Temp Heating and Air is your number one local HVAC company, offering $1,000 off new installation units and 10% off in additional services through December. Visit them at comforttemp.com. Today's we'll have JC, we'll have Danny Wuerffel as well. He's going to talk about the coaching search that he was involved with, give us his thoughts on the new coach, and any other questions you may have. Gators lose a heartbreaker last night in Cameron Indoor Stadium. JC, what'd you think, my man?
Well, I like the front court. I will tell you that. And I think the back court will get better as the season goes. I think this team, put itself in position to win the game, down 15. I thought when Flan hit the three, they were going to win. But QB, they out-rebounded Duke pretty significantly on the offensive glass. And that's the positive thing I take from this game. And as well as just coming back in that environment, down double digits. But basketball's a funny sport. When you're down 10, 15, 20, you still have a good chance to come back and win if the talent is comparable. And I think Florida can play with Duke. I think Florida can play with anybody when they play their best game and when they're good in the front court. I think Florida is a threat. Going to UConn on Tuesday, I guess it is, at Madison Square Garden. I mean, that's quite a chore. But listen, these are great games to watch this early in the year, and I prefer this over playing somebody like, FAMU. So no disrespect to FAMU, but honestly, these games that we're watching, this ACC SEC Challenge QB, you got to like it if you love college basketball. You really have to like it.
Yes, for sure. It was a tough one. I don't think that's a great Duke team. I think our guards will hopefully figure it out. But if we had the same schedule we had last year, JC, we'd be like 6-0 right now.
Yeah.
We played nobody.
Right.
And then we play UConn next week. So
yeah, no, I know. They're playing them in the Garden. It's a home game for UConn, really. Don't give me this neutral court crap. It's not neutral, and it's okay. It's all right. This is great experience for basketball teams, man. I mean, the committee at the end of the year is going to look at a one-loss Duke, 1 point loss at Duke, and not hold it against Florida whatsoever. I think it's a lot better than having a close game against Kennesaw State. Oh, speaking of Kennesaw State, QB, do you realize that Kennesaw State is playing for the Conference USA Championship on Friday night?
Mm-hmm.
Do you realize that Kennesaw State, as recent as 2023, could barely get a first down? It was a horrible football team and was 100-1 to win the conference championship. Kennesaw State.
This year they were 100-1?
100-1. 100.
You know their nickname, JC?
Oh, I did, but I don't off the top of my head. Tell me.
And you don't. I think they're the Owls.
Well, you talk about a group of guys that got together and said, we're going to make a good football team out of this school somehow, some way. And it was only 2 years ago they were god awful. And here they are at 100-1 odds about to win the Conference USA potentially. I think it's Jacksonville State at Jacksonville.
Gamecocks.
Yes, that's right. That's a great story. I love that.
We got a million texts here. I want to get to a few. I want to pick and choose. They come in overnight and what have you.
Sure.
Gator Josh from Wild says he loved our new coach's presser. He came up as a special forces operator.
Okay.
He's ready to get up and hit the objective. I'd follow him into battle. Go Gators.
I like. What do you think of this hire as for defensive coordinator?
I mean, look, Kentucky's always pretty decent in defense.
Better than offense, that's for sure.
Yeah, so I'm fine with it. I mean,
yeah. I mean, what do you?
I mean, is there anybody that somebody really wanted? I don't think anybody really has these well-known defensive coordinators.
Well, there's one I watched last weekend that really impressed me, and the way he carried Auburn through. DJ Durkin.
Yeah, but he's at Auburn.
Well, he is. Is he?
He's their new defense. He's their defense coordinator.
He was retained. Okay.
And can't believe everything you heard, but basically the athletic director, from what I was told, said whoever our new coach is,
we're keeping DJ.
You have to keep this guy.
Well, Alex Golish, look, he's an offensive guy from Tennessee. He did great things at USF. Why would he have a problem with that? If you watched Auburn, the way they've played since getting rid of Hugh Freeze on the defensive side is a testament to Durkin's ability to coach that team, and I think that's a great decision by Auburn. I think John Cohen basically said, "Yeah, you got to keep this guy. He deserves a shot." They were close to winning that game. If they hold on fourth down, they probably do win that game.
Yeah.
Kalen DeBoer knew when he was going for it both times on that last drive that he had to convert it, and the season was on the line. It was incredible. But yeah, I think Florida's got this Kentucky guy. Listen, we got to give all these coaches opportunities to show us something special, and I think Summerall's going to do.
As I've said multiple times, there are coaches coaching all around the world that shouldn't be coaching at all, especially at the level they're at. Then there's some that just don't get that are great coaches that don't get opportunities.
Yeah.
Text from Rick in Jupiter says, I keep reading the OCs to watch for Buster Faulkner from Tech and Brian Dayball. Do you prefer one of these? Can you go over their schemes briefly? I don't recall either of them running high-octane offenses. I'm not hearing much of Brian Dayball. I'm hearing Buster Faulkner, Cade Bell, Holsey from Tennessee, and Neil Brown.
I think Neil Brown got a job.
He did?
I think he did, yes. He got a job.
If he got anything, it'd be a head job, I think.
Yes, it was a head job.
Did he get North Texas?
I think he's getting Tulane. No, he's getting North Texas. It's North Texas, excuse me. It's North Texas because they're going to hire Blake Baker, I bet you, at Tulane. That's who's going to Tulane. And the gentleman you just mentioned, Neil Brown, is North Texas. Thank you.
Buster Faulkner is very highly touted. He has, I've been told, he's got multiple offers out there. I think he's waiting to go to Georgia. He's got Georgia ties. He played quarterback at Valdosta State in the air raid. So he's really an air raid guy. But from what I've been told, his hands are somewhat tied at Georgia Tech because of their style of play and their quarterback. Haynes King is not a great thrower, but he's a damn good runner.
Why do you think Bobo is not going to be still at Georgia?
There are people, I just don't think he'll last this year. I really don't.
Is that what who's the quarterback you talk to all the time from Georgia? Come on. To Scott Lindsey. Buck. Is that what Buck said?
I have not talked to Buck.
You talked to Buck just
the Georgia game.
Yeah, not long
ago. That was what? Back in Halloween, JC.
That was a month ago. I mean,
yeah. No, I don't talk. I talk to him once a year. That's for the Georgia game.
Okay. Well, I know Kirby likes him. So,
but you got to remember, Buster was part of their national championship teams on their staff. So we'll see. We'll see.
Well, listen, I'd be thrilled. I think John knows what he's going to do, and he's going to bring in such quality here. It's going to be such an upgrade from what we've been subject to, and basically at the same price. You want to talk about price? How about Lunatic State University? If they fire Kiffin, they have to pay him 80% of the $92 million, or whether or not he gets a job. After that, they have still not finished paying Ed Orgeron. They still have got to start paying off Brian Kelly. Kiffin will get bonuses if Mississippi wins in the playoffs. LSU's going to pay. Lunatic State's going to pay that, and then Lunatic State's going to cover the difference of up to $500,000 between the house that he sold in Mississippi and the house he's going to buy, a new house in Baton Rouge. They're going to cover $500,000 in difference of price. And if he wins the Natty, he becomes the highest paid coach in college football immediately. 100. I mean, when you do all the math and you add it all up, and then you add in the assistant coaches, it's over $165 million. And so for all those wealthy donors in Louisiana, you got to get ready to open your checkbook because Lunatic State does not have $165 million sitting in the bank. I'd be willing to bet you that. Go get him, guys. He's really. I mean, who is this guy Kiffin? Has he won 4 Super Bowls? His biggest win was a Georgia game at home in 2024. He hadn't won anything. Remember, 4th and 2 at Alabama at the 30-yard line. I'm at my own 30 against Alabama. I'm going to go for it. Bring your popcorn. I mean, who is this guy? Is he that great? He's a good coach. Fine. Is he that great? They're going to spend over 160. I think it's great. Go get him, Lunatic State.
That's what you like to call them, lunatic state.
They're
now?
lunatics, man. But I mean, the governor's involved. This guy Landry. I mean, dear Lord, what a
Yeah.
gang. Hey, I think Florida. Listen, they got this guy Summerall. And
So I had to do a show with Coach Furry yesterday, and Coach reads all this stuff, right?
Yeah,
He said that the USA Today folks, I didn't even know they were still in business, the paper. He said that out of all the coaching hires, that the Gators got the top, like, overall candidate. So we'll see if it all pans out. I think everybody likes him. The quarterback and the OC are the key. Brandon says on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mel Law, the DC hire is way more qualified than the substitute teachers we had on Napier's staff. And then wants me to ask Danny, why is this a PR stunt coordinated by Scott and the UAA? We will support the coach. We're just tired of being misled and managed by Scott Strickland.
5 more years. You got 5 more years, guys. Unless he decides to leave early. But he's leaving in 2030. But you still got 5 more years.
He doesn't go anywhere, JC. He still has a job here after that.
He's not retired AD in 2030?
He'd be retired, but then he becomes whatever Foley is now.
Well, that doesn't matter. It's 5 more years.
Board of Trustees, I think.
Yeah, 5 more years. You got 5 more, guys. 5 more. 5 more years.
So anyway,
it's just interesting that he was, basically allowed to pick this coach after the last 2. And
Danny was part of Danny's going to be on, and he'll tell us he was part of the committee that chose him.
No, and I think it's great that they asked for other people's thoughts and opinions. And once again, I preached and I preached and I preached that a Gator needs to run the Gator affairs. So with this in mind, Danny Wuerffel being one of the great Gators, he was involved in it. I think that's what they needed. At least they got that right. Were you on the committee, QB?
No. Won't be on that damn committee.
I know you weren't, but you had your ear to the door.
I don't think like most of the people.
You think differently.
I think differently.
Well, you still want the same objective. You want what's best for Florida.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, yes. And by the way, I am a fan of every team. Somebody was asking. I think Indiana, Oklahoma, or Ohio State's going to be unbelievable. I think it's going to be a great game.
Miapa Latin Cafe, order your holiday package today. No one does catering like Miapa Latin Cafe.
I do love it there. The chicken and rice with the kidney beans and the French fries covered with ketchup, and just splash it all around with the chicken and rice, the Cuban chicken, pollo. Yeah, pollo.
Jerry on Facebook Live says, "Will they keep Billy Gonzalez? Have no idea who they're going to keep.
Well,
they may keep some. They may not keep any.
I hope they keep my neighbor. I sure would like to see him stick by. I'm going to go play golf with him soon. But these guys, it's a tough occupation. You do choose it. You don't have to do it, but it's very transient. I mean, he's got helmets in his den from Oklahoma, from Arizona, from Duke. And it's just really it's amazing how many places my man's been to. But yeah, it's a tough gig being a coach, assistant coach.
There's no question about that.
You got to know people. You got to have your group of people, and coaches hire their own.
Todd on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mellon Law, says, Shane, you said K would bring his QB with him if hired. But what about his freshman QB his dad has? That kid is in the portal as well. I've talked to some people. A lot of people out there think the Pitt QB, who's a true freshman this year, has a chance to be a big-time high draft pick when it's all said and done. So we'll see. But wherever K goes, I think that kid goes with him. Shelvin says people have been griping for years at the UAA, says nothing. Now they get a Gator legend tell us every detail, and a few of our fans still throw a fit. Come on, Gator Nation.
Listen, folks who are not impressed with it all will calm down eventually. We'll get into spring. They'll go through the transfer portal in January. It's going to be just fine. It's going to be just fine. Everything's going to be fine. Everybody's happy. You'll see. Everybody's going to be excited. They just don't know John Summerall. And honestly, I see why. I mean, the guy was coaching at Tulane. He coached at Troy. Do you even know how to get to Troy? I can tell you.
I do.
Right. You and I know, but most folks, where in Alabama is Troy? It's right off Highway 230.
Pretty much in Florida almost.
Yeah, it's just north of of Dothan, south of Montgomery on Highway 231. It's a great little school for folks in the state of Alabama in the southeast. QB, how about this?
By the way, today is National Signing Day. Did you know that, Jason?
Yeah. For the early sign period. Yeah, I can't stand the count. I don't like anything that they do. College football needs to be reorganized. But let me tell you, this guy, we're going to watch these games this weekend, these conference championship games. Keep your eye on, obviously, the Tulane, North Texas game. We're going to watch that. We want to see Coach Summerall. But UNT, this team out of Denton, Texas, this kid Drew Mestemaker, he's a quarterback. He's got a 29-4 interception or touchdown to interception ratio. He's 11-1 with the Mean Green. He's 19 years old, and QB in high school he played safety and punted. He was not a quarterback. It's incredible. And he's 6'5", 6'6", and he's throwing the ball everywhere. And he punted the ball. He was a safety in high school. Never played.
Do you think he's going to be a mean green guy next year, or is he going to be a Pistol Pete? I think he's going to Okie State.
Yeah, I would think he's going to follow Eric Morris. Absolutely. That's his path to the NFL is with Eric Morris. Right?
Yeah, Eric Morris is going to light up. What are they in the Big 12?
Big 12, yeah. And they're going to have a good time in the Big 12 because I think they'll change that.
Yeah, and I don't need anybody on Monday if Tulane gets blown out or I don't need anybody to talk about their team because I do know this. They do not have great secondary. I've been told that by some people that are close to the Tulane program, and but we'll see.
The only game I saw them play was against Memphis, and they beat the hell out of them. And
it's a good program, but
roll wave. I mean, roll wave, and just get excited. Watch your coach on Saturday.
Monty on Titan Our text line says, Shane, do you know who was announcing last night with Sean Kelly and what happened to Lee Humphrey? That's Brian Hogan. So I think this year Lee has a lot of family responsibilities. I think his kids are getting at certain ages where he's got to be at games and all that kind of stuff. So Brian Hogan, Lee Humphrey, and I think Patrick Young will all be doing some color analysts for the Basketball Radio Network, if I remember that correctly.
Now, Kim, okay. JC is an Alabama guy. Like I said yesterday, you have a good coach when your rivals hate the hire. You have a good coach if he's a good coach, and I don't hate the hire. I love the hire. So,
Brandon says on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mel Law, I hope Summerall doesn't get entrenched with Lagway and bring, where did it go? Get entrenched with Lagway and bring in competition and play the best player that gives you an opportunity to win. I would think he would do that.
Well, Lagway, I don't even care. I just want this guy to come in and get his own people in place, and whoever plays. Like
I said, JC, I don't care if you're playing quarterback if you're consistent and throw completions.
Yeah, why do we care?
It's the most important position in football.
No, I get
sports.
It.
We need somebody. We need consistency.
If anybody knows that, it's the new coach, right?
Yeah, let's hope.
So who's going to win the Heisman? Who's going to win the Heisman real quick? Who you got?
Well, I don't get to watch a lot now, JC, because we're busy all the time. But there's nobody that, people talk about, well, whoever's going to win the Ohio State-Indiana game, which to me, that makes no sense. It should be the body of work, right? The whole season. It's not just one freaking game. I think Diego Pavia probably should be the winner.
I think if Mendoza and Sayin play in a low-scoring defensive game, Diego will win it. But if Mendoza throws for 3 or 4 touchdowns, he's your winner. And this is the biggest game of the year for these two teams because it's the hardest game. Indiana had played at Oregon and won, but I don't know who Ohio State is still. I know they're very talented, but I don't know how talented. I don't know how great they are. I think they're very, very impressive, but they haven't been tested. So
should be a good one.
Yeah,
it's at the same time. Is it on Friday night or Saturday night?
No, it's Saturday after QB. You know when the Big Ten championship.
The Big Ten championship used to be on Friday nights.
It is it's always after the SEC game. It's always after the SEC game.
No.
Yes.
Nope.
Yes, it is.
It used to be on Friday nights. I'm telling you.
I don't think so.
Or maybe that was the Pac-12.
Maybe
that was the Pac-12.
You are thinking of the Pac. They wouldn't put the freaking Big Ten championship game on a Friday night. What are you kidding me? That's a high TV, highly watched televised game. It's always Saturday night. It's always after the Southeastern Conference game, and it runs.
It runs right with the ACC.
Yes, it runs with the ACC.
Ain't nobody gonna be watching that.
Right. Okay. So, this is going to be the Heisman game, if you ask me. And again, if it's a defensive battle, I think Diego wins. If it's not, I think they're going to give it to Mendoza. But
what about Julian Sagan?
Yeah, I mean, if he throws 5 touchdown passes, absolutely 100%. It's going to be the most watched game this weekend. It'll be that game, and then right behind it will be the Alabama-Georgia game, and then you have whatever you have. But it's going to be an incredible Saturday. So this is the playoffs. We're getting ready for the postseason. Then we get the reveal show on Sunday at noon. Last night they switched Notre Dame and Alabama. They put Alabama at 9, Notre Dame at 10. If Miami and Notre Dame and Vanderbilt aren't in the field of 12, then it is clear to me that the committee is not upholding their mandate of getting the 12 best teams, because then you're putting in James Madison, either North Texas or Tulane. And then you've got, and then if BYU beats Texas Tech, what do you do with Texas Tech? They'll have 2 losses at that point. You can't penalize them. So they're going to be in there. BYU will then automatically be in there. If Virginia beats Duke, do they have enough on the resume to get in? It's hard to say, but the ACC does not have an automatic bid. It's really kind of crazy. But if you're telling me Texas, Notre Dame, Miami, I think you're going to get one of those in there. Probably Notre Dame. But Notre Dame and Miami don't play anymore. They're done. So do they put Miami ahead of Notre Dame or behind Notre Dame in the final reveal poll? And to me, if they don't put Miami ahead of Notre Dame, then there is absolutely 0 point in playing these types of games. And we've already seen the schedule start to get softer with what Alabama did yesterday, and who can blame them? Because now they're going to 9 conference games, and there's 0 chance you're going to see these cross-conference games like Texas, Ohio State, or Miami, Notre Dame. And if Alabama loses to Georgia and they don't get in the college football playoff, you can bet the SEC championship in some form or fashion is going to change. You can bet on it. Because if you are penalized for going to the SEC championship at 10-2 and you lose in that game, and then other schools in your conference who don't play go ahead of you, there's no point to it. So I think there's a lot of change coming if we have chaos. I really do.
Joseph wants to know, Facebook Live brought to you by Mellon Law, if Alabama loses in the championship game, do you think they should still be in the playoffs with 3 losses?
I think they should. Of course, I'm somewhat biased, but I heard that last night.
I don't think they need to be penalized for being in the championship game.
I mean, they're playing for a conference championship. That shouldn't count against the regular season. They qualified for the conference championship because of the regular season. They beat teams that would go ahead of them, like Vanderbilt. And I just think that it's nuts to penalize a team unless they get blown out by 30 points and put in somebody that didn't play. So in that game, they have to play in that game. They don't probably, it's look, I think what we're going to see is a couple schools really be upset about not being in, and that's probably in the group of Texas, Notre Dame, and Miami.
I don't think Texas should be in at all. They lost 3 games in the regular season. They lost to us. They shouldn't be in. I don't think there's any discussion. I don't care they beat A&M. Doesn't matter. Andy says on Facebook Live.
Well, it's the Ohio State game, QB. They lost to Florida, but if they didn't play Ohio State instead,
Okay, that's different, but they did. Okay, and they have 3 losses.
I know, and that's
and I love Sarkisian. I like their program, but I don't think they should get in. Andy says I didn't get to watch the FSU game. I saw highlights of DJ. When he sets his feet, he throws one of the best balls. But like you said, we can't wait. Look, that's for any quarterback, right? And this is not picking on DJ. This could be if we are talking about Florida State or whoever. If you quarterback play, and I say it, how many times did I say it, JC? Quarterback play, you have to be consistent. You have to have good fundamentals, or you have zero chance to be consistent. And when you have bad habits, we don't have time to fix people's habits.
That's right.
We don't. I don't care if it's a first-year coach next year or what. We ain't got time to develop people at the starting as a starter.
Well,
a quarterback, a corner, a left tackle. We have to have experienced players that you have watched tape and broken it down and says that guy can play for us for the Florida Gators.
And they are paying
the chance to make the playoffs. Bottom line.
That's it. And they are paying $7 million annually to get that done this time again. And dude, you can do it. You can do it overnight.
Yeah, I mean the whole like this guy's young.
No.
We've seen in the last 3 years or more, we've seen multiple kids step right in and play.
Yeah.
At every position.
At every position.
There's no more excuses. None of this. We're going to wait 2 years.
No. That's those days are over. Those days are over.
Expect us to get a good roster and go compete. If we're not doing that, we don't need to even show up.
And they will show up.
All right.
I think, look at, like I said at the beginning of this segment, Kennesaw State was the worst example of a college football program 2 years ago. And now they're playing for a conference championship against teams their own size. It can happen. And we have plenty of teams by example here. The team on this hat here, this team was the joke of the Big Ten, and now everybody loves them, right? So it can happen, man. It can happen quickly. And the thing about John Summerall that I did watch Tulane play this year. I do know that Auburn was going to hire him if Florida didn't act. And I think, and I don't have to apologize for it because some of these comments on YouTube, I think he's going to do great things at Florida because of who he is and what he's done already. I knew that he won at Troy. I just didn't talk about it because why would I? Who does? But he won 2 times at Troy. He went to the conference championship game, and then he went to the conference championship game 2 straight years at Tulane. That's 4 in a row. Nobody else has done that in their leagues at any level. So, do I think the guy's an accomplished coach? Yes. Is he going to win in Division I? We're going to find out. Basically, Division I in the SEC, we're going to find out. But I think Florida has a real good one here. And I've heard, like you have, QB, all of these other players, ex-players, other coaches, Leon Combe being one of them, the coach of the Jaguars. This guy's a stud. He's an absolute rock. So I believe that. Why wouldn't I believe that? So why wouldn't you believe that, folks? So get excited about it. And if you don't like me talking about it, I could just tell everybody he sucks. And if that makes you feel better, but that's not the truth. That's not what I believe. I think he's great. He's going to do good things here at Florida and finally have a guy who's competent. I don't think the last coach was. Simple as that.
Very true. Very true.
And Danny's going to say a lot of what you just heard, but it's going to be coming from Danny. So it should make you feel even better. He's a Gator making decisions for the Gators, which is what I've always said has to happen here for this school to get off its ass. And it needs to. Gators need to be involved in making the Gators better. Period. That's my case. I close my arguments.
Andy says John is in a conference game. He's been in a conference game every year. He played for the conference championship in all 4 years as a head coach.
No one else has done that.
He replaced 60 players this past year. Yeah, I mean,
he's going to rebuild this disaster. He's going to rebuild it.
I don't think that's true, but I think the pieces are in place. You just got to add a couple pieces here and there, and we can be very, very competitive.
Real quickly. Very quickly, and that's what I think everybody wants. We're tired of watching these losing games. He in December, November, and October, his record is flawless. Basically, he wins on the road. When was the last time Florida won anything on the road? So,
Cool.
yeah, I mean, think about it, guys. This guy knows how to win football games. If you're not happy about that or excited about it, then just sit on your ass and wait for it to happen and then jump on the bandwagon. But I'm cranking up the bandwagon right now and I'm sitting on it. I'm ready to go. Either get on or let it go.
All right, JC, have a great day
All
working
right.
out.
We'll see. That's right.
That's JC joining us on the Titan Number Hotline, courtesy of Comfort Tent. We'll take a quick time out. Come back. We'll be joined by former Heisman winner. Well, he's not a former Heisman. He's still a Heisman winner.
Yeah.
Danny Wuerffel will be joining us on the Titan Number Hotline. You're watching and listening to Matthews in the Morning from the International Diamond Center Studios. We'll be right back.
Our premium sponsors are Atlantic Roofing, Campus USA Credit Union, International Diamond Center, J.F. Hayden's Craft Liqueurs, Los Landeros Tequila, Meldon Law, Titan MRI and Imaging, UF Health Orthopedics. Our gridiron sponsors are Baker's Sports, Comfort Temp, Electronics World, Florida Cracker Kitchen, Florida Victorious, Gallo Car Wash, Miapa Latin Cafe, Peachland Dental, Quality Plumbing, Ruse Ogre State Farm, Silverback Concrete, 84 Lumber, Big Mills Cheesesteaks, Celebrate Primary Care, Gator Bait Media, Gator Dominoes, Ironwood Golf Course, McDonald's of Gainesville, Tropical Smoothie Cafe, UF Bookstores, Advocare, and MG&A Wealth. Watch and listen to us live on Facebook and YouTube. Listen to the podcast whenever on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. Remember to like, follow, and subscribe so you don't miss any episodes. And if you want to advertise, give my man Freddie a call at 352-284-3733.
Naysayers. Setbacks. Injuries. Life throws a lot of hurdles your way. The key is just keep jumping them.
Coach, you know, it always impressed me how you beat Florida State to win the 1996 national championship.
And I was really impressed with your 06, 08, and 09 Gator teams.
And the way you coached Danny to the Heisman Trophy.
A lot like what you did with Tim Tebow.
You know, you won more SEC championships than you lost home games at the Swamp.
And you had plenty of super games in front of our Gator Nation.
Yeah, there really is something special about the Swamp.
I guess that's why we say about the Swamp, only the Gators get out alive.
To the Swamp and the Gators, with the best beverage served at Spur's Gridiron Grill, 100% agave Los Landeros Tequila, aged in bourbon barrels for a smoother taste.
I think you mean head beer coach, 1966 lager, a crisp, light, bodied lager for easy drinking.
Nope. Los Landeros Tequila, smooth enough to drink neat and bold enough to elevate a cocktail.
1966 lager, enjoyed on game days in the fall or whenever you need a winning cold brew.
Los Landeros Tequila.
1966 lager.
Los Landeros.
1966 lager.
Y'all stop bickering.
Okay, you're both wrong anyway. The best thing Spurrier's Gridiron Grill offers are Jerry's famous chocolate chip cookies.
Welcome back to the International Diamond Center Studios. Gallo Car Wash is locally owned by UF alum and the only car wash that provides NIL opportunities to Gator athletes. Locations on Northwest 13th Street, Wilson Road, and coming soon to Jonesville. Back to the Titan More Hotline, courtesy of Comfort Temp. The 96 Heisman Trophy winner, Danny Wuerffel. How you doing, my man?
Hey, man. Good to be here with you. And, I'm sure the astute Gator fans will know what I'm about to say is true, but some of the others may not. But I just want to put it on the record that had you had the same teams around you that I had prior to me getting there, we'd probably have at least one more statue out there of Shane Matthews and maybe another national championship. I don't think you get near enough credit for how good a quarterback you were, Shane. You were unbelievable and largely responsible for me even being a Gator. So thanks for getting me. Thanks for bringing me in, and you're my guy.
That's right. I'm very responsible for Danny Wuerffel. Hey, let's switch gears. Obviously, we got a new football coach, John Summerall. You were fortunate to be a part of the selection process. You sat in on all these interviews. Just kind of give us a rundown, kind of how that went for you, what type of experience it was for you.
Well, it was a new one. I've never done anything quite like that before. Honestly, didn't know what I was signing up for, but I just went to Scott way 6, 8 weeks ago and said, "Hey, if there's anything I can do, I want to help. I'm passionate like all the Gator fans." And for some reason, he invited me into the process. And I did say like, "Hey, I don't want to just like be around and then you pick a coach and then I'm supposed to rubber stamp whoever you pick. Like if I'm going to be part of this, I really want to be part of it." And so really me, him, and AD Duke, assistant AD Duke Werner were the primary guys. And Shane, I mean, talk about Zooms all over the place, flying all over the place, ducking from people with cameras and CIA. I felt like a CIA agent trying to go undercover to visit with all these coaches because most of them didn't want to know we were talking to them either. So it was quite an experience. I learned a lot, and I was just really, really impressed with the whole process. One of my biggest takeaways was how much misinformation was out there, and in particular, I think Scott is taking a lot of heat that's not fair. I think he did a fantastic job. So, but most importantly, I really am excited about where we landed. I really like John Summerall, and I think he's got a passion, a fire, a mentality, and we'll see how this plays out.
When you were sitting in on these meetings, like, were you able to ask as many questions as you wanted to?
Oh yeah, and it fully. It was asked a lot of questions, and so I was very much engaged and trying to both, evaluate the person as a coach, evaluate their record, evaluate their vision, and then even more so, like who they were as a person and a leader, and how you see that playing out at Florida. So yeah, dialed into all that.
What do you like most about John Summerall?
I mean, I think that the thing that jumps off right away is his passion and his edge. And you and I were, cerebral, smart quarterbacks, but the game of football is a combat sport in general. And so first and foremost, you've got to have guys ready to fight. And he's got that, like more than almost anyone I've been around. I was around Ditka. I was around some pretty feisty competitors, and this guy has a grit that jumps off the page. I felt like if he were leading a Navy SEAL team into battle, I would follow him. So that was one. But number two, he is really smart. Like just watching him process anything he's talking about, you're really impressed with how smart he is. Another thing that I think was very important, a lot of times as people get more successful, it happens in every profession that I've seen, you tend to get really full of yourself a little bit, and you think you're like the smartest person around, and you don't take feedback or you don't bring people around you that are also smart. And that's the opposite with him. Like the way that they have a very systematic process for everyone, including him, to get feedback, to listen, to get better, I think is just absolutely phenomenal. And then, lastly, one of my biggest concerns, which I think probably you and many Gators had, was like, wait a minute, we're going after like an offensive guy, right? Like we were raised in Spurrier, and that's what we want. And of course, the other guy seemed that everybody was looking at that we really liked as well. Lane had all this offensive firepower. So how are we pivoting and how are we really focusing on a defensive guy? Well, his answers were great. I mean, in the very first Zoom call we had, he started talking about 11 personnel and a lot of 10 personnel. And I joked with him. I said, "John, what's 10 personnel?" And he's like, "Oh my gosh, Danny doesn't know what 10 personnel is." And I said, "No, I do. We just hadn't seen it in a long time." So, and he also immediately said, I love my guys here. I love my coordinators here, but the offense we need to run at Florida is not what these guys can do. And so I think, the belief in him going after and finding different coordinators that would more fit our brand gave me confidence. So those are sort of things that jumped off the page as we were interviewing him. We had, I think, one or two Zooms, and then we were actually in his house a couple times and really, really got to know him well.
Bobby on the Titan Our text line wants to know, Danny, do you have any aspirations of maybe being an athletic director one day?
No, that is quite a job. That's the bigger thing that I would be interested in. I love being a part of this process. I love being part of Gator football. Hopefully I'll be able to be around a little bit more. but this was just something I did. I didn't get paid to be a part of this. I just wanted to be involved, be engaged. And so, no one's paying me to say anything now, good or bad, about anybody. I'm just kind of saying what I think.
Lee on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plumbing. It's pretty long here, but basically just kind of wants to know about the Lane interview. A lot of people talked about the GM issue was what turned Lane off. You want to address that?
Sure. Yeah. I think a lot of things have come out, and most of the stuff is either not quite right or really not right, I'd say. I think, before we had talked to Lane, there was a lot of preconceived things that he had heard or known that he had, legitimate concerns of. Once we met with him and walked through those weren't issues. I mean, I think, I think he thought I wasn't going to like him because I'm kind of known of being kind of a good guy, a good Christian guy, and he's done some other things in his life. So I think he thought I might not like him. And but we had a great relationship. I think him and Scott did really well, hit it off well. The dude's an interesting guy, has like very unique ways of communicating, but I've probably got hundreds and hundreds of texts from Lane Kiffin, and Scott Strickland does too, and voice memos. Like, once we met with him and cleared up the stuff, like, he seemed to be all in. Like, all the signals we were getting were very, very positive. So we felt really good about it. We're engaging, we're moving forward, and then sort of all of a sudden went radio silent. And you looking back, I think clearly what happened was he was probably dialed in on LSU for whatever reason. But he wasn't communicating with us. And I think probably their agents were using us as leverage to get a better deal. I'm not sure what, but we realized it wasn't going to work. I have some suspicions that a lot of it may have to do with his son and where he wanted to be and some other things, but we went hard after him. Scott did a great job. He, for whatever reason, picked somewhere else. And we were fortunately well established with all our searches, with all the guys, to pivot to who is clearly our next guy. And Shane, you've kind of mentioned this, but where I sit now after all that happened, I'm actually feeling really great and thankful how that process went, and really excited about John Summerall.
Yeah, Joseph on Facebook Live, brought to you by Melton Law, says, Danny, we've never seen a PR push like this behind any other coaches that have been hired. Why are we doing it now?
Well, first of all, I would probably say that's not true. Every time you get a new coach, they ask everybody sort of welcome to the Gator Nation. I'm not a PR push. There's no agenda here for me. And I was personally involved, so I feel great about it. I think the optics of this are really unique. You've got everybody so focused on one guy, and then not only does that not happen, but then you kind of pivot back to what many people feel like is the same thing all over again with a G5 guy. And it's like, oh my gosh, and he's a run guy. Are you kidding me? So, I think, I was just glad we got him to the press conference, because then people could see what we saw in the interviews. I think he addressed a lot of the things head on in a really good way, and so forth. So yeah, I think we're always trying to support whoever our coach is, and every coach we've had, we've always tried to encourage that coach.
Brent on Facebook Live says, Danny, how do you feel we will do with NIL and recruiting and filling needs going forward?
I feel great about that. I think that that you just immediately you look at the two most important things are your own roster retention and the signing day. And all indications that I've seen are that John's really just crushed that, even in the midst of coaching Tulane and doing that. I think the addition of a GM is another wise move structurally for our organization and for Florida football going forward. And I think that'll help as well. I know the donors that I've talked to are really excited about where we are. A lot of people don't realize some of the other moves Scott made, bringing in Michael Seeley as a chief commercial officer and kind of organizing all the revenue streams has been brilliant. We've got the Morgan Wallen concert coming, which is adding revenue. I got the Geico logos on the field, which adds revenue. So we're in a really strong spot. That's every coach. That's a big concern of theirs. They're like, where are you guys? And when they see the numbers and they see the buy-in from Florida, everybody's been pretty impressed with that.
All right. Conyer Ron on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plum, says, did we make a play for Lincoln Riley?
Oh, yeah. I'm glad you brought that up, because the reports that I saw said Lincoln and his agent Trace Armstrong reached out to Florida 3 or 4 times, and idiot Scott Strickland wouldn't even respond. So it's funny on a couple levels, Shane, because one, Trace Armstrong is not Lincoln's agent anymore, so that's just patently false. And secondly, we tried desperately to talk to that guy. I mean, I was like going to drive in a go-kart to LA just to talk to him. Like I mean, if you play for the guy, you have a 50% chance as the quarterback to win the Heisman. So we'd have been crazy not to. For whatever reason, he didn't want to talk to us. I suspect either he wanted to stay where he is, or maybe he had another job lined up that we haven't heard about yet. But no, that was just wrong. We definitely had him high on the list, wanted to talk to him, and for whatever reason, he didn't want to talk to us.
Offensive coordinator, we got a ton of people here saying, do you think it's all Coach Summerall? Will the new GM have any input on that? What are your thoughts on that, Danny?
I mean, the way we've set that up is that the coach will be primarily responsible for those decisions, and the GM is going to be a massive resource on that undertaking. So I'm sure they're talking through all those things. I think John's trying to be really thoughtful about which coordinator he goes after. I think there's a lot of different input from different people that he'll take, but that'll ultimately be his decision as the head football coach.
Yeah. All right. I want to switch gears before we get you out of here. Obviously, your Desire Street Ministry is very, very important to you. Obviously, give us kind of an update there, but also you're going to be giving away a college award that you give away every year here pretty soon, right?
Yeah, thanks. Well, Desire Street is doing great. I started working there when I was in New Orleans on Desire Street. There's actually a street named Desire in New Orleans. And now we're in Atlanta, and we work with people that live and work in under-resourced neighborhoods all over the country. We just finished a 5-year plan. We were trying to impact 20 neighborhoods in the past 5 years. We actually got to 27. And so now we're kind of doing a new 5-year plan between now and 2030, and that'll be coming out soon. So excited about that. And yeah, you mentioned the All-State Wuerffel Trophy is a college football award, not for touchdowns or yards or receiving or tackles. It's an award for community service. So I'm really proud to be a part of that, associated with that. We have 3 finalists right now. We had 116 nominees, and now we have 3 finalists that were announced. Michael Taft from Texas, who had the kind of game-winning interception against Texas A&M. You have Tanner Wall from BYU and Michael Hofer from Toledo. We'll be announcing the winner Friday night before the Heisman at the College Football Awards Show, and the winner and both finalists will be in New York to kind of be honored over that same weekend as well. So yeah, thanks for asking, Shane. And also, Shane's been a great supporter of us, comes to the golf tournament every year, so appreciate you, man.
Yeah, anytime. Got a question here that somebody wanted to know on the is George on the Titan MR text line. Who do you think wins the SEC championship game, Bama or Georgia?
Man, I always have a hard time betting against Kirby because, man, the dude just always figures out a way to win, but he seems to not always figure out a way to win against Alabama.
Yeah, I think he's 1-7 against Bama,
I know,
or something like that.
Right? So like I would have always keep leaning towards Kirby unless it's Alabama. However, I think Georgia is going to get this one. That's what I think.
I agree. And then I might as well ask you, who you like between Ohio State and Indiana?
Man, I'll tell you, the Signetti story is fantastic. He'd have been one that I'd have driven up to talk to him if he'd have been available. He was definitely a tier 1 person. I just think Ohio State is too loaded. They're so impressive across the board, and their defensive coordinator is doing some really amazing, unusual things in college football, having a stellar year. So I think it'd be tough for Indiana to beat them this year, but we'll see. What do you think?
I haven't seen either one of them play this year, like a full game, so I'm anxious to watch. I like both the quarterbacks.
Yeah.
I mean, as you said, Ohio State, it's hard to go against them because their roster is better than Indiana's, but who knows what can happen. I wanted to ask you too. I know you can't actually tell us, but kind of give me some ideas who you may be voting for the Heisman. I mean, I can't remember a year where it's this wide open.
Yeah, I mean, there's just some good players out there across the board. Yeah, I can't really kind of get into those comments, but some of those quarterbacks are doing great. And I'll probably have to leave that one alone. Who are you voting for? Why don't you give me some advice? If you were me, who would you vote for?
Well, like I said, I don't get to watch as much football as I used to because I'm traveling and doing the games and stuff. But obviously, the two quarterbacks playing in the Big Ten championship
Yeah.
game are up there. But the year Diego Pavia's had is just incredible to me.
It really, really is. Like he's a really unique guy. I'm a big fan of Clark Lee, and I think he really created a system and a culture to allow Diego to thrive. I could see other coaches trying to contain him and maybe make him more buttoned up or polished as a person, and I think Clark really helped him develop and be the best he could be. That's a great story.
Yeah, it is. I'm a big Trinidad Chambliss. His story is incredible.
Uh,
And statistically, he's thrown for more 300-yard games than anybody. I know in the SEC. I don't know about America, but he didn't start the season, so who knows where his stats would be if he played all year. Danny, great stuff as always, my man. I appreciate your time. Uh, I like our coach a lot, as you told me I would, and appreciate everything you're doing for the Gator Nation, my man.
Absolutely. You too, Shane. Keep up the good work. Talk to you
The
soon.
Heisman winner, 1996, Danny Wuerffel, join us on the Titan Tomorrow Hotline, courtesy of Comfort Temp. Silverback Concrete builds firm foundations for generations. You stand on it, we stand by it. That's going to do it for today's program. Thanks to Danny and JC for joining us tomorrow. But we'll be here with Brent Beard, our college football analyst and Heisman Trophy voter, give us his thoughts on these championship games. And have a great day, folks. We'll see you tomorrow. Take care.